Good franchises win Super Bowls. Bad franchises, well, they run in mediocre times. And not that some Super Bowl champions can't be from a franchise that's run with dysfunction, like the Dallas Cowboys. They might be able to win a Super Bowl one day, even with the franchise's dysfunction. They're a big enough brand. Some of the brands are big enough to overcome the distractions. And some, well, they're going to be going on that mediocre line for a very long time. Let's talk about the 5 most dysfunctional franchises in the NFL. Now, before we get started, I just want to tell you about our friends at Underdog. Underdog is a great way to play daily fantasy sports or player prop bets. All you have to do is click the link in our description. And right now, they have a Steph Curry special, just over a half a point for Wednesday. And you can combine that with at least one other play, but up to 5 or 6 different plays. Use promo code ONTAP, and you'll also get the Steph Curry special and a $1,000 US bonus on your deposit match. Make sure you click the link in our description or use promo code ONTAP when downloading the app. And now let's get on to the 5 most dysfunctional franchises in the NFL. Number 5, the Chicago Bears. The Bears are they're like a once proud franchise, but we're talking since the 80s since they ever won a Super Bowl. And not just that, they keep hiring all these defensive coaches. Why? Because the 1985 Bears were the monsters of a midway that played good defense. You finally got a guy who could be a franchise quarterback, one of the best prospects in history of the NFL. And I know you might not like Caleb Williams, but that's the truth. He is one of the best prospects in history of the sport. You got Andrew Luck, Trevor Lawrence, Peyton Manning, John Elway, Caleb Williams. In some order. I don't care what that order is, but he's one of the best ever. And you give him Matt Eberflus, who I always want to call Zach Eberflus, by the way, for some reason, but he's not. Number 4, the Cleveland Browns. Now, the Cleveland Browns and their dysfunction all stems from the quarterback position. I think if they ever got a stable quarterback, they have the right head coach right now in Kevin Stefanski, but hopefully they continue to have the right coach because he's one of the better coaches in the league. And if they fire him, he'll be hired within a minute. He'll get a head coaching job in a snap of a finger, probably in a good organization that gives him an opportunity to win. They gave Deshaun Watson too much money in a guaranteed contract. And that was after all the allegations against Deshaun Watson. I don't know what they're thinking, but sometimes I just feel like they don't think. Number 3, the Las Vegas Raiders. Mark Davis is a guy who, by the way, is one of the least cash-rich owners in the league. So he's kind of cash-strapped. He moves him to Vegas. They bring in Tom Brady now. Maybe this franchise can change. But the once proud Raiders can't win. We have to go all the way back to the early 2000s to see a time when the Raiders were actually good at football. And for a once proud franchise, a fan base that is rabid, maybe one of the best fan bases in all of sports, how disappointed are you if you're a Raiders fan? This all goes back to Mark Davis, his inability to make right decisions and trying to be flashy. It's almost like they're jealous of the Dallas Cowboys in Jerry's world, but they can't keep up with the Joneses. And I'm getting Antonio Pierce just because he's a cool guy and players coach and sells tickets doesn't work. Number 2, and I feel bad for him, is the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones has lost all ability to make rational decisions, plain and simple. I know 12-5 with that roster built, but he kind of got lucky. What the Cowboys' problem is loyalty now. He went from one of the most ruthless owners in the league to a guy who's just way too loyal. He gave Dak the bag. He gave CD the bag. He once gave Zeke the bag, and he brought Zeke back now. Mike McCarthy's been there for too long. Jason Garrett stayed for too long. What happened to the guy who would just fire people and bring in like Bill Parcells? This is not the same Dallas Cowboys organization that it once was. And right now, they are a model of dysfunction. And number 1, the New York Jets. The New York Jets tried to get lightning in a bottle and bring in Aaron Rodgers. They fired the most probably competent coach on their staff, who's the head coach in Robert Saleh, because Aaron just didn't like him. They revolve the organization around a aging quarterback who's moody, who doesn't get along with players on the team, who, when things go bad, he's not a foxhole guy. That's what the New York Jets did. And Woody Johnson is reactionary. Fired Saleh. Today, fired their general manager. You might see this on Wednesday. The New York Jets have never been really good in our lifetime. Sure, they got to an AFC championship game with Rex Ryan, 2 of them. But they're just a bad organization, and I don't know what they can do to fix it. So those are our top 5 worst organizations or dysfunctional organizations in the NFL. My name is George on Tap. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.